Good evening, fellow viewers, and thank you for tuning in. This is Scope TV, and we are on the Eagles Talk Show. Today, we are going to be discussing a very important topic. Since this revolution started because schools, because there was a problem with our educational and judiciary system, and so the students were asked to stop going to school, to boycott school. And every September, we have to talk about this. We have to debate on whether or not to allow our kids to go back to school. Today with me to discuss this very important topic, I have Comrade Abanda Tango. Thank you for coming and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Right.
I'm glad you honored the invitation. So yeah, because of time constraint, we'll just go straight to the questions. As you understand, September is fast approaching, and some parents really want their children to go to school. Others think that they shouldn't go to school because certain conditions are met before they go to school. So what is your opinion about school resumption? What do you have to say? Should students be allowed to go back to school come September?
Well, thank you so much. I want to thank you for this privilege to invite me on this platform to express my own personal view with regard to school resumption in southern Cameroon. And the first thing I first of all want to really go rapidly is that we should first of all, before we clamor for, before we actually call for school's resumption, we should ask ourselves these simple questions. First, number one, what was first of all the cause? What were the causes of the revolution? What were we fighting for? What were we clamoring for? Are the things being resolved? And to my best understanding, I think our southern educational system was one of the reasons why schools were stopped. When the teachers, they took up to the street, and the lawyers, they said, okay, since our educational system has been polluted, it is very important for us to put a halt to our education, to see that things be amended. And the question now is, if we are asking our children, our brothers and sisters to go to school, are those problems be resolved? Are our educational standards be resolved? I have a couple of questions to ask. And I want to ask the parents and all Southern Cameroonians these couple of questions, which I think it's very pertinent for us to think over it before we can actually veto the fact that school should resume or school should not resume. But for me, I would think school should not resume for these few reasons, which I'm going to forward as questions. First, if we resume schools, I think, because La Republic, they know our pride and they know what we have been going for. They know why we have been keeping our children away from schools, because of what they are interfering with our own educational system. And now that we took on the street to say, no, things must take the right turn. And the international bodies like the UN and the UNESCO, they've been trying to see that things come back to normal. And La Republique, actually, the Cameroon, Phobia, and his government, they are telling the international government that things are coming back to normal. Number one, if we go back to school, we are passing a message to the international body that what Phobia told them, that things are coming back to normal in the southern Cameroon region is true, and the fact can be proven that schools are going up. And that can be a very strong backbone for La Republique to hold on, to show to the international community that things are coming back to normal. Number two, when we say schools should resume, let me say this. Who are those to go to school? I want to first of all say this. I would think that the history of apartheid in South Africa is about to take place again. What actually took place in South Africa? In South Africa, during the time of the apartheid, only the girls, the ladies were allowed to go to school. because the boys or the males were considered to be the ones fighting, to see that their rights be maintained as blacks in South Africa. And so only the ladies were going to school, and any boy that was seen on the street was being shot. So to me, I think if La Republique is behind the school resumption in the southern Cameroon, it is to allow our boys to come out from the streets, to come out from their bushes, so that they can have an opportunity to ambush them and kill them. That is another reason. These are the questions I'm going to ask.
Yes, Comrade, before you go ahead, I would like to answer your first question. One of the reasons why you think children should not go back to school is, like according to what you said, is that BIA is going to assume that BIA is going to tell the international community that things are going on normally back home. So, but there is this argument. They are arguing that they have solved most of the grievances that the teachers demanded, and so students should go back to school. So do you think we are going to hold our children not to go back to school just because we want to show to the international community that things are not going normally back at home?
Thank you for that question. When you say they have solved what the teachers were clamoring for, the question I want to ask is, where are the teachers? Some of them are still in the dungeon of the Condenge, locked up by the same La Republique. So which teachers is he talking about? Where are some of the students that he is saying that they are going to go to school? There are so many of those students locked up in Bamenda, locked up in Boya, locked up in Yaoundé, locked up in Bafoussam. And what are you talking about that they have, solved the problem that the teachers were clamoring for? No proofs. No proofs. This is the question I may wish to ask. This is the question I may wish to ask.
Yeah, before you ask a question, you've just asked for proof. They might also want you to give proof that when the boys, they leave the forest to come back home to go to school, they will be ambushed, because that is one of your arguments. You are arguing that the boys should not be allowed to come back home to resume classes because you think that if they come back home, the government is going to, the colonial regime is going to ambush them, is going to arrest them or kill them or lock them up. So what proof do you have to back up that argument?
First, number one, the question I want to ask is, if the boys should be coming out from the bushes, first of all, what was the root cause for them to go get into the bushes? La Republique there openly declared war on Ambazonia. He sent troops into Southwest, into Boya, Bamenda, into all these places. Militaries have been there. They are visible on the street. And so what will be? And so because of the presence of the military, they have been killing our people, killing our girls, raping them, going to schools. Even right now, as I'm talking, I think last night there was a shootout, I think today, at Sacred Heart College. Who are those shooting out? The military. So who are those now to be at the campuses? You see, they have taken some of our campuses as their military barracks. So where are the children going to go to school when they're taking it? Now, when he declares war, the first question I'm going to ask is, has he withdrawn all the troops to create a conducive environment for students to learn? That is the question I'm going to ask. Has he withdrawn all his troops that he sent and declared war in 2016 and declared war on Southern Cameroon and sent the military? And he cannot say things have been resolved with influx and flux of militaries flooding our schools, flooding our streets. While I'm talking about schools, because the schools, first number one, have been burnt. Where are they going to go to school? How many schools? Where are they going to sit? Under the trees? That is point.
Okay, so what you are saying, your argument is that the children cannot be allowed to go back to school, one, because of insecurity.
Exactly.
And also, two, because the government cannot guarantee that if those boys come back home, they are not going to be arrested. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Can you go to the next point why you think schools should not resume?
Well, one of the reasons I think schools should not resume is because, first, if the government should be saying that children should go back to school. Some of those children, their sponsors were their parents. And most of them, their parents have been killed. So when they say going back to school, is there going to be a general scholarship to everybody? Who is going to sponsor the kids? Who will buy their goods? Who will take care of them? When their sponsors have been shot and killed, and some of them are still in jail, locked up, and you're asking me, let me take for example, if I'm a student, and you're asking me to go to school, and my parent is either killed or locked up, how would you expect me to go to school? How would you expect me to go to school? The second thing is, where am I going to stay? Where am I going to stay? When villages have been razed down to dust, houses have been burnt, and you're asking me to come back from the bush? Should I leave? Should I be staying from the forest and coming to school? That is the question. So what are the structures put in place for schools to resume? Houses to be built, schools to be built. Those are the challenges. And where are the sponsors? Those are the challenges.
So, Comrade, I thank you very much for all the points that you're raising. You've raised some very legitimate arguments. You've said that the problem why students were asked to boycott classes have not been solved, even though the government is arguing that they have been solved, but you say they have not been solved. But you haven't provided any proof that they have not been solved. Can you provide proof that these problems have not been solved? Because that is the main argument of the authority. Have been solved. The reforms that the teachers ask have been made.
Well, the main glaring proof that the problem has not been solved is the very fact that there are still most of the teachers locked up who ought to be teaching. Have they been released? No. The second reason that...
Comrade, I get that point. The teachers were not arrested. The schools were not boycotted because the teachers were arrested. The schools were boycotted because certain reforms have not been taken. And so the government is arguing that those reforms have been taken, so the children should go back to school. I get the point that the teachers are behind the bars, but that is not the reason why schools were stopped in the first place. The reason why schools were stopped is because the teachers were asking for some reforms. The government is arguing that those reforms have been carried out, and so the children should go back to school.
The question I'm going to also table here is, what syllabus are they going to be working on? Because right, I think getting back in 2014, getting to 15, when they were trying to sandwich the French educational system to merge it, to take the Anglo-Saxon educational system, to merge it with the French educational system, and so that we, the Southern Cameroonians, will be carried by the French educational system. So what are the proofs that the syllabus have been changed and to be purely Anglo-Saxon? So what are the proofs? What are the proofs? Secondly, most of the students that they are clamoring for, they are IDPs here and there, refugees in Nigeria. They are all scattered. How are they going to, is there a means to bring them back from the bushes from Nigeria, from wherever they are hiding? Some are flown over. So what are the modalities put in place to transport them back to their different localities so that they can school very well? So you see that what they are doing, they are just propagating what I call lip propaganda, which are just politics, which are just skeletons of politics, and they are not reality. So when you put all of this together, you will see reasons why schools should not be resumed.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So you've made some very important points. You've said that the reforms that the Teachers Acts have not been taken, and the reason why these reforms have not been taken, it is because the teachers have been arrested, and so the government cannot claim that the reforms have been taken, but yet they are retaining the teachers. So it doesn't make sense, because you can't carry out the reforms that the teachers ask, yet you are keeping the teachers. You should release the teacher since you've made those reforms. So that is
exactly.
the point. You also made another point that there is lack of security, and that there are militaries in the campuses, which is also a very valid point. These are two very, very valid and solid points. What is the next point why you think students should not go back to school?
Well, to me, I think students should not go back to school first because one of the reasons is what I myself have witnessed, that if we are struggling to go back to school, all about schooling is not just to be intellectually loaded, but to have a platform wherein after my studies I should be able to execute or practicalize what I've been studying. I have witnessed a lot of people who are master degree holders. Some have different kinds of diplomas, but today they are Okada riders. And these were people who have been going and having such education as their own format. But today, what are they doing? There is nowhere a Southern Cameroonian can stand and boast that I have studied and this, this deposit for my studies. How many English speakers, how many English people are in the BI government as he's claiming? From his ministers, how many Anglophones are there? From the lawyers, how many Anglophones? From the magistrates, how many Anglophones? From the teachers who are even teaching right down in Bengal, my village, how many Francophones? But how many Anglophones are there? When you put on all of these, you discover that there has been a high level of marginalization, and our educational system was hijacked by La République de Cameroon, which we are fighting for the restoration of our Anglo-Saxon educational system, which will guarantee our children, our brothers and sisters, a secure future, that when they come out from school, they will be able to practice what they have been studying in school.
Okay, thank you very much. So another reason why you think that our children should not go back to school is because what they are studying in school is not relevant. It's not going to help.
It's not relevant.
And it's not also going to help them in the future. So you are advocating for a total overhaul of our syllabus, of the of what our children need to be taught at school.
Exactly.
And now you say that teaching our children about the name of governors and divisions in the country is not helpful in any way to build the economy.
Exactly. Now, how many children that when you asked, you see, when I was going, I studied history, but I knew little about Cameroon history. That I had nothing to do with French Revolution. I'm not a French. You teach me about my culture. How came my parents? How did, if you ask me, how did Moment Division submerge or emerge? I will not tell you. But I had to do the studies on my own personal, discovery. But that is something that, we ought to have been schooled through. If you ask any American the history of America, they will be able to tell you how America emerged from where it came from right up to where it is today. But most Southern Cameroonians know nothing about Cameroon. They know nothing. If there were two countries that came together, they were fighting to come to see if they could be together, and now that they couldn't be together, and now we're looking to say, no, let you go your part, then I go my part. And this is what we want people to know their roots, to know their origin, so that they can defend their culture, they can defend their identity.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So now you are completely against the colonial educational system that we inherited from the French, because it's not relevant to the economy, it's not helping us in any way. I actually get your point, because when I first moved to Europe, I wanted to know about those who were governing the country. For example, I was in the Netherlands, and I wanted to know the name of the Prime Minister of Netherlands. And I met a girl in the metro, and I asked her, what is the name of the prime minister? And she laughed and said she didn't know. And I was shocked. It is later on that I came to understand that all those things are not relevant. Because back home, they used to teach us things that are not relevant. Because when you go to school and they teach you the name of the prime minister or the name of the president or whatever, and you come out from school, how do you use that knowledge to create a job for yourself? It's not going to happen. Or to be to make it, to turn that knowledge into some economic potential, something that can generate you some income and help you to sustain a living. So I get your point. The syllabus is useless, and so our children should not go back to school. We need a complete overhaul of the educational system. We need to create a model where our children will be able to study things that when they come out from school, even if the government does not employ them, they'll be able to create jobs for themselves. You
exactly
to teach our children more of technology and than just theory, like the things that they are teaching now. So now you've said that they are all very valid points, but what do you have to say to those who are saying that those people who are arguing against school resumption are so insensitive? They want us to they want us to build a country with children that are illiterate, who are governing, who are going to rule this country. One of the argument that they are making is that, and become their ruler, they have suffered and want to come back from the diaspora and come and enjoy the sweat. So what do you have to tell them?
Well, thank you very much. One thing I would have to say here is that all about clamoring or chanting that there should be school resumption because they want to be this or that. But I will say here that the reality is, it is not how fast you run that you think you can win the race. So what becomes when after you study, let's say for example, yes, schools will resume, and then you come and there is no structure for you to fit whatever you have learned. What are you going to be? What are you going to be? So there is no need to rush for something. I would first of all want to give this as a biblical example because I'm a clergy. I'm a reverend. I'm a clergy by profession. And one of the scriptures in the Bible says that do not embark on building a house when you have not sat down to count the cost of it. Don't even try to start it. So what does that mean? It means that we should not rush just to gather stuff without actually creating a picture of what we want to do. If not, we will practice what we call abuse of education. Abuse of education. You see, it is because a lot of people don't know what education is all about. Education is not just to be intellectually sound, but education is a platform you just learn to put into practice. Let there be a structure, and what starting to run. The purpose for this revolution is to fight for a structure. Fight for a structure that will accommodate our children, our brothers and sisters, so that when they will be done, at least they can have a place to practice whatever they have learned from school. So when they learn today, what has happened with all of those that have been going to school? Where are they? Where are they? And that is why most of them, I bet you, most of them who are in the bushes most of them are graduates because they are frustrated, because they don't know where to put into practice what they have been learning, and so they are forced now to get into the bushes to fight for a structure that will accommodate what they have learned in school. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you very much. But so are you saying that if this war have to last for say 10 years, you will continue to advocate for a school boycott for 10 years?
Okay, let me ask you this question, sir. Thank you for the question, but let me ask you this question. If you embark on building a 10 stories, right? Let's take an example according to your means, and you want to build that 10-story building, and according to your means, you have just little to apply, little to apply. My question is, are you going to park and stay in the 10-story building while it is still under construction, or you will wait for it to get finished before you can get to stay in there? So which one is important? Is it finishing the structure to move in, or you stay, in the structure while the construction is going? Who knows the kind of eventuality or accident that might occur, and that at the end you might not even end up doing what? Enjoying your 10 stories. So what am I saying? I've mentioned the security. Let us try to put a structure in place, because it will serve no use and no good when our streets are flooded with military, and tomorrow actually you want to go to school, and tomorrow you don't find that you are coming back. You're only called on phone. They said we saw a child lying on the street who was shot. I give you an example. I think the other day, 30 some of our village of brothers and sisters, they were ambushed. I don't know whether it was in Bali, somewhere. 30 of them were killed by the military. What are they? They were at the farm. Now you're going to tell me, should I sit at home? You sit at home, they break their house, they shoot you and kill you. You go to farm, they meet you at the farm, you silence them, kill you. You go to school, they will come to school, they break into school, they kill you. So what do you want me to do? So the best thing is to fight. The best thing is for me to be killed while sleeping, or to be killed while dodging or running. You better kill me while fighting. I will know I died for a good cause.
Okay, thank you very much. I know you've given some very powerful argument against school resumption, but I also know that there are some parents who are so emotional about this. They don't care about what their children learn. They will tend to argue that that is the type of education that your elders had, and they are still okay. I just want you now to look into the camera and tell those our parents back at home who want their children to go back to school. Just speak to them and tell them why, in a language that they will understand. Tell them why you genuinely think that it is not yet time for them to go back to school. Yes, you're talking about insecurity. They get that. You've also spoken about the system of education, which you revamped. You've also talked about the teachers who you think should come out of their, should be set free, so they can come out and teach the children. You also talking about the houses that have been built, the schools
that have been built.
Yeah,
the return of the IDPs and refugees.
Yeah, you talk about all those things, and all these things are understandable because these are things that we see. It is true. The parents would understand that yes, their children cannot go to school because the classes have been burnt. These are not make-up stories. They are there on the ground. They're seeing all these things are happening, and they also understand that some of the teachers are behind the bars and they need to come out. But I just want you to talk to them in a tone that they will understand this and these things that you've already talked about. These are the other reasons why you think they shouldn't go back. They shouldn't allow their children to go back to school. In simple terms, for example, you might say it's better for my child to be alive than to be educated.
Right. Let me address this to my brothers and sisters, because I'm also a parent, and I want to address this especially to my brothers and sisters and parents back home. I will come down to a language that each and everybody can understand. Mommy them, papa them. One of the reasons we, as is still one for say, make we keep our children home, not because we like them, make them be home, but because the house where they get for Shidong, they never fix them. Who go lie for Shidong for inside house where roof is a leak? When things are not be, when place not there for picking for learn. How you go one send your picking for place where you know sure. So tomorrow as you go back, it will come back the next time safe. How you want that you're picking? It means if you still want to see those armies the way they stand for street with gun, and then you still leave your picking, make it the just nyati to go for school. It means you parents, you know like your picking. You know like your picking. Why? Because you not be sure if your picking it will come back alive. We go still want for repeat this and repeat this time and again. I want to ask. We hear the other day, military them go for farm. They chop here, they move corn, they cut them for ground, chop them for ground. Maybe now the source of the place where you be get for go use money, you sell chop for use money, you know, go pay picking a school fee. Now when they don't spoil them, you go take money for side. Or maybe you think, or maybe I don't know, maybe for beer dan he go give you money. So make you send your picking for school. We don't know. But for me, they never send me money for send me to send my picking for school. I don't know whoever. I don't know even my brother will just say that other some of your relatives do not send money for you to say make it pay school fee. So all of these things, you know, they be very important. First, make you ask yourself, what to make the stop school first? They don't solve them. And if they don't solve them, because for their feet and say, oh, they don't solve them. How? When people that prove say they don't solve them, when we teach them they sit there for prison, picking them sit there for prison. So when they're there for Nigeria, so when they're there for forest, they don't lost. They don't even know. So when they will come back, they don't even know where to stay. So how we will do go for school for play where you won't go for many time, now God. You won't stay for night, now God. So it depends. The parents, I want to really first of all ask this. Where are the parents first of all? Where are the parents? See, because if we look at schools, there are certain things that we should put into consideration if schools must resume. Because when we are talking about things coming back to normality, we want to weigh or we want to judge the calm nature of things going on in Bamenda. Because vehicles are plowing the street. What about those in Tame? What about those in Womb? Every day we hear gunshot in the BLM. Every day we hear gunshots everywhere in the suburbs. So when we're talking about school resumption, is it school resumption in Bamenda town or school resumption in Ambazonia as a whole? And if there should be school resumption in Ambazonia as a whole, then Zambia must withdraw all its militaries from all of our different villages, number one. Number two, he must release all those that he has arrested because some of them, they are teachers, are still reiterating. Some of them, they are students. He must release them, without which we cannot go. When I have two children, or let me say I have two. One is locked up, and the other one is at home. Now, if I send the other one that is around to go to school, I'm doing a work of injustice. What would I tell the one that is in jail? What would I tell him? First of all, the one that is in jail is even more safer because it's under protection. The one that is at home can be killed at any moment. His life is not even guaranteed. Even you that is still at home, your life is not guaranteed. So even I can even say the one that is even in jail is more safer than the one that is home. Thank you. I think I explained myself a little bit clear here.
Okay, thank you very much. So why picking a note for school? Because one, the government say it don't solve the problem where the teachers they be the exam. But the brother don't talk say the government never solve them because government they lie. He never ever talk
right.
Because the government they talk say everything they go on normally. But when they want come for we side, they come with bulletproof. That one for sure
right.
They no be normal. Yeah, another second reason why brother don't talk say me picking no go back to school and say it no be safe, it no be secure. Even though the government say when they go back for school, police people the day they will take care for the pikin. But we see am for TV say that one a lie. When governor one come out for Boya, go for Kumba, if we wear bulletproof because of the fear, say
Right.
Amber boys go shoot him. So if the same government can't talk, say me pikin and go back for school, it means that they no be honest. It means that they want just make propaganda so that may the other people then for that other side for world they see say we pikin they go back for school when a lie because them say self they know if you work up freely. And another thing we brought around to say pikin they not supposed to go back for school now say when they go back for school, no be only for go sit down and for go learn something. And for go
Right.
yeah, it be different, big different there between going to school and for go learn. The kind thing where they go learn now. We know one more picking and go for school, maybe they talk for them for French because we picking and need to understand French. Government feed the lie said wrong, send that one a lie. So that the reason that we picking and no get for go back for school. But I just want you to give an option. What options do you have available? Because by and large, our children still need to be educated. What options do you have on the table?
Right. Thank you very much. First, let me before I answer your question, there is something that just popped up in my mind, which I would think it's one of Pobia's strategy that he is using to tarnish the image of our restoration forces because they are really fighting to paint the picture of what we are claiming and reclaiming, which is our own sovereign right to reclaim that. And they want to paint the picture before the international world that these guys are rebels. These guys are fighting his government. Why? How? I just want to answer it. I know your question.
Comrade, we have only about 3 more minutes to go. Just give, if you have any option, alternative form of education studies. So just give it 2 minutes so that I'll round up because, yeah.
Okay, one of the alternatives, there are so many ways to learn. There's what we call here in the United States, there's what we call home learning. Home learning. What is home learning? You just find maybe somebody, if I am in Form 5, you get your child who maybe is in Form 3, let the Form 5 be teaching the junior ones. It is not about the certificate. It is about being literate. It is about having something. Let the right thing be passed across. Because I know the one that is in Form 5 must have come across or must have, encounter what the reality of our southern educational system is. So we'll be right now to pass across. Everybody can play the role of teachers now. Both parents and the ones that have gone ahead, you can teach your junior ones. You gather in groups and you teach them. That is what I did to my kids. I gathered them and I called for somebody who was once a teacher somewhere. I knew we were just teaching, and so we understand that this is what is going on, and my children were learning under that same umbrella.
Thank you very much, Comrade Abana. Thank you very much for that alternative, because it's very important that we understand that there are alternatives to go to school. The government just wants children to go to school because they want the world to see that people are going to school. But what is more important is learning, and you can learn in any environment. Yes, our brothers talked about homeschool. This is a common thing. Even in the days when things were normal, we still used to have homeschool. We still used to have classes. The children, quarters, they can organize and teach the children relevant stuff. And even the area where the Amber Boys have control, they can organize, and our children will study something that's going to help them in the future. I thank you very much, brother Comrade Abanda. I thank you for your brilliant debate on this very important topic. So I believe that our people back home, they have listened to what you've said, and they are going to be blessed. It's going to help them to take some very good decisions to reconsider sending their children to school, because it's better for them to have their children alive. They can still teach their children back at home. Like you rightly said, it's not about the certificate that you have. It's about the knowledge you have in your head, because there are some people with certificates without the knowledge. So
right.
Knowledge, the children can be taught at home. The children can be, you can send the children to, if they teach them at home, they can register and write the WAEC exam in Nigeria, which will be recognized than the GCE that will be acquired during this period of war, because UNESCO is watching, and UNESCO understand that our children under this condition will not be able to meet their standard of certificate that could be recognized. So I thank you very much for coming. I hope we'll still have time before school, before September, to talk on this. Thank you very much. I thank you for your
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful day. For those of you who just joined in, please keep on share so that other people may listen to this very important subject. And if you have some propositions, please just drop your comments and we'll take them into consideration. Maybe in our next debate, we're going to talk about some of the comments that you made. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.